This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Well, there you go. That's the official word from the doctor. Yeah. Yuck. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, right in a nutshell. Yeah. Good afternoon actually, good evening. Yes, it's 7 p.m. here in beautiful New York on this December 16th. And, I guess, what do you say? You know, we had a special guest in the studio earlier this afternoon on another show. And, let's just say HTLA Studio 2 was overtaken for a number of hours. Yes, it was. Yes. It was Kanye West, actually, promoting his new album or release or, whatever it is kind of thing he does. Yeah. Well, I didn't know this because, of course, we've never had him in our studios before. But apparently, even over at WNYC there, when they have him on for an interview, they usually slate off about 5 or 6 hours out of their studio that day after that 4 to 7 minute segment that they put on. Yeah, it was just a little, he just comes in for a little blurb. That's it. And, what, of course, ultimately happened is after the quick little few words on the microphone on the air, we did not know, being, I guess, noobs to bricks and mortar radio, we did not know that the man likes to take 5 to 6 hours after his 4 to 7 minute blurb on the air to, of course, discuss his incredible ass. Yeah, true story. So, of course, they were all in there for, up until about 15 minutes ago. That's when it finally ended. So, there you go. And that would be your Coffee and Cigarettes late night edition tonight here at 7 p.m. Eastern on the old radio. And 7:03 right now, 47 degrees in Central Park and cloudy. Kind of foggy, kind of just all around crappy today. But hey, never fear, because we still got a very good show for you today. Yes, we do, including fracking news. I love fracking news. We haven't had that yet. And a little more of a detailed breakdown about Obama's executive orders. Yeah, I got some fun stuff going on there. Bye. Anywho, you've got it tuned to the right place, and although we are a little late, it's time to come on in, grab a cup, have a seat, and light one up. Coffee and Cigarettes. Well, there you are. Back at you here. apologies, I think, if the studio's sounding a little tinny. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but we're sounding a little 1940s radio here. Yeah. Well, they retuned the mics for Kanye's ass there, and yeah, there it is. Anyhow, yes, finally you do have it tuned to HTLA Radio 1 New York and Coffee and Cigarettes for this 16th of December 2014. Thank you. Lovely intro there. And, in the booth with me today is the one, the only Jenny McCartney. She did not get swept off her feet by Kanye's ass and is still working the biz in the booth there. And also, joining us via satellite, although he may sound tinny too, is the one, the only Mr. Louis Lawless, the man who taught me film and directing for film and television, and he was just an awesome teacher. There he is. Are you there, Louis?
That was a mistake on my part.
Wow. Yeah, you got to bring him up there, Jen. I couldn't even hear that one.
That was a mistake on my part.
Oh, is that what you said? Oh, okay. Just getting that out of the way.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Of course you can. Don't be ridiculous, my fine sir. You are the one, the only. Who could argue with that?
Can you give me any help for $25,000?
We're still on that again?
All right, go a half an hour. Do I get $50,000?
Okay, I know we've covered this before, but what do you need all that money for?
I need to try and raise $25,000 to enter in the Academy Awards, and I think it's a fantastic risk because we have a tremendous chance. There's about 200 members that vote on it, and they all you have to give them a DVD now. Yes,
I'm aware of the requirements for a DVD. I think they've been doing that since, 1992? Yeah.
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Yes, and you know who you're on the air with right now, don't you?
Wait a minute, I got lost. H-T-L-A. Oh, H-T-L-A. Hell is that?
That's it. That's it. There's only one. HTLA Radio 1.
He called me, and he called me. He kept calling me, and I wouldn't answer the phone.
Well, we'll just forget about all that right now, because we're actually on the air. Yes, there we go. So he's with us today via satellite, and he'll be chiming in on all the wonderful little stories I've got for you coffee goers today. And what the heck else? Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention, I've got station business, as always, but there's a little bit more today. Yes, kind of a neat little announcement. I'm sure you're all going to be tickled pink and run right over there and do whatever. Yes. So there you go. HTLA Radio, the number one, just one.com. That is the website address it's the only one you need to know. Because from there, branching out through the wheels of the interweebs, everything else is available to you as well. So go check out www.htlaradio1.com. And, yours truly shows there, and Kate truly shows there, and Guy Shays, and a whole smattering of new hosts coming now in January, of course, the HTLA Radio 2 opening up there quite promptly. And, it's going to be good stuff. So, hey, don't go anywhere, you know. If there's another show out there that you listen to, and you listen to it because they've got something we don't, just wait till after January 1st. Because I'm pretty safe in assuming that whatever they got that we don't now, they're not going to have that for long. We're going to have that come January 1st, of course. So, moving on with the big program today. What else do I got? Oh, I do. Yes, are we doing that? No. Yes? Okay, let's do that. Oh, it's fun, I tell you. The other news, of course, for HTLA is they've got this big new forum thing now opened up where you can do all kinds of interactive things with all your favorite shows and hosts and all kinds of neat stuff over there. You can also even listen to shows over there. They've even got the download or listen live button there. You can hit that there and just be in heaven. Head your little browsers on over to Radio 1, that's just the number 1, newyork.proboards.com, and check out what HTLA's got rolling there for the network of now looks like 5 God, really? 5. 5 stations. See, that's what I said. Come January 1st, if there's anything we don't have, we'll certainly have it then. And that's just for the man. You know who you are. 5 stations. Yeah, we've got HTLA Radio 1, Best Talk, of course. Radio 2, Best Talk, of course. Radio 3, News Talk. And Radio 4 is the Hot Talk. That's the explicit adult channel. Yes, all the stuff worse than your worst possible shock jock nightmare is going to be over there at Radio 4. And then, of course, Radio 5, which is some machination of rock and classical or something. I don't know what quite that is. Okay, well, there you go. Well, you'll have to wait and see. That's right. But January 1st is, of course, the release of Radio 2. So fasten your seatbelts and hold on to that one. Thank you, kids. Yes. Now, so let's move on to our shoe today. What do we got for a shoe? Well, Obama. Obama's always good, isn't he? Isn't he good for a shoe thing there, Louis?
I think it should be short and sweet.
Yeah, we should stick with that probably. Well, Obama issues executive orders by another name. Yes. By issuing his directives as a memoranda rather than an executive order, Obama has downplayed the extent of his executive actions. Yes, because he's been accused of that a lot as of late, if nobody's noticed. President Obama has used a form of executive action known as the Presidential Memorandum more than any other president in history. Yes, all 50 years almost now of history. Using it to take unilateral actions even as he has issued fewer executive orders. When these two forms of directives are taken together, Obama is on track to take a more high-level executive actions than any president since Harry Truman battled the, quote, do-nothing Congress 6 decades ago. Well, according to a USA Today review of the presidential documents, Obama has issued executive orders to give federal employees the day after Christmas off. We call it Boxing Day in Canada. Yes, you move those mountains, Mr. President. It's time for change. And to further impose economic sanctions and hard to determine how national secrets are classified, he's used the presidential memoranda to make policy on gun control, immigration, and labor regulations. Tuesday, he used a memorandum to declare Bristol Bay, Alaska, as off-limits to oil and gas exploration. There we go. We'll never know. That could be the gold mine of oil and gas. Damn it. Well, like executive orders, presidential memorandas don't require action by Congress. They have the same force of law as executive orders and often have consequences just as far-reaching. Some of the most significant actions of the Obama presidency have not been by executive order, but in actuality by presidential memoranda. Obama has made prolific use of memoranda despite his own claims that he's used his executive power less than other presidents. The truth is, even with all the actions I've taken this year, I'm issuing executive orders at the lowest rate in more than 100 years. At least that's what he would like you to believe. So it's not clear, it is, that Republicans didn't seem to mind when President Bush took more executive actions than I did. Yeah, that's what he says. Obama has issued 195 executive orders as of today. Published alongside them in the Federal Register are 198 presidential memorandas, all of which carry the same legal force as executive orders. Now, looking back at the Truman years, he issued 28, Eisenhower 22, JFK 24, Lyndon Johnson just 12, Nixon 14, Ford 17, Jimmy Carter, Billy Carter, that'd be a hoot, wouldn't it, having Billy Carter as president? Yeah. President Jimmy Carter 40. Ronald Reagan, an astonishing 79. The first Bush, yes, the first President Bush, only 39. President Bill Clinton, 110. G.W. Bush, 129, and President Obama at 198. Like, that's some skyrocketing stuff there, boy. He's already signed 33% more presidential memoranda in less than 6 years than Bush did in 8. He's also issued 45% more than the last Democratic president, Bill Clinton, who assertively used memoranda to signal what kinds of regulations he wanted federal agencies to specifically enforce. Now, Obama is not the first president to use memoranda and to accomplish policy aims, but at this point in his presidency, he's the first to use them more often than executive orders. Quote, there's been a lot of discussion about executive orders in his presidency, and of course, by sheer numbers, he had fewer than other presidents, so the White House and its defenders can say, quote, he can't be abusing his executive authority. He's hardly using any orders, said Andrew Radovalij. Oh, get an American name, you Saka. Oh, yes, I do have that now, don't I? Yeah, Saka. There you go. See? Hey, this is kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Sweet.
Sex is only the tip of the iceberg.
Ah, shut the up, Louie. I like it. Oh, yeah. Yes. So even he's quietly used memoranda to signal policy changes to federal agencies. Obama and his allies have claimed he's been more restrained in his use of the power. In a Senate floor speech in July, Majority Leader Harry Reid said white Republicans accuse President Obama of executive overreach. They neglect the fact that he has issued far fewer executive orders than any two-term president in the last 50 years. The White House would not comment on how it uses memoranda and executive orders, but has previously said Obama's executive actions advance an agenda that expands opportunity and rewards hard work and responsibility. Here's a kind of a little quiz for you out there, gang. A little quiz. These executive orders and these memorandas seem, I don't know, just kind of a funny way of dancing around the issue of a dictator. And it's kind of interesting to me that the use of these, quote, executive orders and these other things, memoranda, are being more and more frequently used to the point where, you know, it's actually skyrocketing during the Obama administration. And, well, you know, as we've just seen, that you don't need, the Senate's approval. You don't need the House's approval. Well, really, what that says is you completely negate the entire system of government that we've put in place as a democracy. Yeah, that's what you've done there. So I'm kind of surprised that presidents have ever been allowed to have executive orders, or indeed at least have them limited. You know, I always thought it was like, a president could only have 3 during his entire term. If he had 2 terms, he could have 6 kind of thing. But no, that doesn't seem to be the situation at all. In fact, it seems to be a little notepad on his desk that he can use whenever he wants. And the more he uses that, of course, you're subtracting the entire democratic process right out of that, aren't you? I'm just kind of saying. I think so. Damn. Yeah. So there he goes. He's really pumping up the numbers on that, and wow. Well, and here's another interesting kind of comparison, too. Back in June, Obama told the Department of Education to expand a program to allow certain borrowers to cap their student loan payments at 10% of their total income. But the interesting thing here is that as an active president, when memoranda are combined with executive orders, President Obama has used executive action more frequently than any president since Carter. Executive actions per year in office, they're just stunning. He's dwarfing everybody. It's like we elected, Stalin. And said, comrade, here is notepad. You put out what you like. We do it. Yes. I don't know. It's kind of scary, gang. What's going on? Yeah, I don't like that. That's not very American. And I'm Canadian, so I should know. Yeah, there you go. All right, gang. Well, we're going to take our tinny little production here off for 2 minutes to go to our first commercial break. And when we come back, we'll get in some fracking. I like fracking. I can say fracking and not have to... Yeah. That's right. We'll be back in 2, gang.
You're listening to Coffee and Cigarettes with Christopher John Taylor on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
I stood outside assessing the situation. I knew it could be rough in there, but how rough, there was no way to know for sure.
Hey, guys.
Daddy, it's pink!
But hey, a new house, it's a blank canvas, and we got a great one, thanks to a really low mortgage rate from Navy Federal Credit Union.
Pink.
So she's a princess. You got a problem with that?
Hoorah! Hoorah! 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union.
Glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
When you have cable and your picture freezes, you get irritable. When you get irritable, your work suffers. When your work suffers, the wrong man is convicted. When the wrong man is convicted, he has time to think. When he has time to think, he thinks about you a lot. And when he thinks about you a lot, your house explodes. Don't have your house explode. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
I always said shoes are like women. They inspire beautiful music.
But what about these?
Stilettos sound like this.
What does my fragrance inspire?
That's got soul.
My ties are beautiful. They don't need music.
Bringing the stars together. That's the magic of Macy's.
You walked into the hotel as a 5. But when she
From the trading floor of the NYMEX, I'm Jill Malandrino for the street. And Alan, the energy complex has really had a tough time over the past 5 days. We've seen a 10-candle move in oil just in 5 days.
It's more than a
probably get a room. Oh, that's right. You already did. At Planet Earth's #1 accommodation site, Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
HTLA's Coffee and Cigarettes. For the best talk, there's only one. HTLA Radio 1.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays! Yeah. What he said. Happy holidays. Yeah. So we're back. Yes, we are. I know. You wanted it to be over. Well, one thing I've learned in this life, gang, you can't always get what you want. There you go. You got to lock to HTLA Radio 1, of course, the Tuesday Espresso for coffee and cigarettes this fine Tuesday, December 16th, 2014. And today, little boom, little free-for-all. We had the lovely Kanye West ass conversation at the top of the show. And then right on into, well, I guess another ass, Obama and his executive orders and his memorandums. Yeah, you gotta love those. They're fun. Or not. So there you go. That's it. That's what's going on. And joining me, of course, via satellite, as always, is, of course, the one, the only Mr. Louis Lawless. He is coming to us live, of course, from the Millbay Studios in beautiful Millbay, British Columbia. And are you still awake?
And I finally figured out how to edit.
Well, that's good, because you taught me how to edit, so there you go. Yeah, and what are we talking about now? Hey, we're talking about fracking. Yeah, there's something actually that we don't often do on this show. I haven't talked about fracking, I don't think, in our... Well, what are we? This is our 28th show, I believe. Yes, damn near a month. Wow, can you believe it? 5 days a week. That's nutty. That's what that is. Well, we haven't talked about fracking to date, but one thing that I should tell you is that fracking is bad for the environment, okay? But before I talk about fracking, I have made a faux pas. Yes, at the beginning of the show, after my station business, I was supposed to, of course, mention Tim Hortons New York City. Yes, because we are partially brought to you by Tim Hortons New York City, and the 8 fine and wonderful locations they have throughout the city to serve your coffee and baked goods needs. Yeah, and it's kind of funny I forgot that, actually, because, well, you know, as much as I love coffee and all. But the reason, I guess, for that was, of course, the complete lateness of today's show. Yes, thanks to Mr. Kanye West and his rear door shenanigans. I know how you feel, kids. That was terrible.
That was a mistake on my part.
I'm pretty sure you had nothing to do with this man's butt.
He called me, and he called me, and he kept calling me, and I wouldn't answer the phone.
Well, it was probably a smart thing. Unfortunately, he actually came here today, so that was not good. And it's funny because people say, oh, you know, you get Kanye West on your show. That's it. You've made it. Yeah, well, nobody told us that after his 4 to 7 minutes of talking about his new album, whatever the heck it was, we had to sit there for 5 hours while he talked about his ass. Yeah, who knew? Well, now we do, and we'll see if we have him back on his next album there. Yeah, good luck. Toxic air pollution from fracking. Yes, it causes a wide spectrum of health problems for Americans across the country, an environmentalist group charged in a report today. Now, you see, I always thought it was to do with drinking water. Well, let's learn more, shall we? Yeah. The health risks from fracking are not limited to what's in our drinking water. Oil and gas operations are also poisoning the air we breathe, said senior scientist Miriam Rotkin of the National Resources Defense Council, NRDC, which produced the report today. The report went on to say that Americans who live near oil and gas drilling wells are exposed to fracking-related air pollution in the form of chemicals such as benzene and formaldehyde. Fracking is a deep drilling process. Oh, there we go. That blasts huge amounts of water mixed with sand and chemicals deep underground to break apart the shale deposits and extract gas and oil from the rock's pores. It has spread across the country, leading to a production boom. Yes, deep drilling. I love that on a Friday. The NRDC said the pollution causes at least 5 serious types of health problems, including respiratory problems, birth defects, blood disorders, cancer, and nervous system impacts. About 1 in 4 Americans live within a mile of an oil or gas well. In Colorado, for example, an evaluation of birth defects in areas with high concentrations of oil and gas activity found that mothers who lived near many oil and gas wells were 30 to 40% more likely to have babies with heart defects. The report was a compilation of recent research on the subject, not a new peer review study. In 2012, the Environmental Protection Agency actually issued rules addressing the problems of air pollutants released by the drilling process, according to the EPA Press Secretary Liz Perchia. A study this year in Environmental Health Perspectives found that people living near natural gas wells were more than twice as likely to report upper respiratory and skin problems than those farther away. The study did not find a significant increase in neurological, cardiovascular, or gastrointestinal symptoms among those living closer to natural gas wells. The oil and gas industry said that fracking is a safe way to boost the U.S. economy and decrease dependence on foreign sources of energy. Natural gas delivers local air and health benefits, according to Energy In Depth, a group of Independent Petroleum Association of America. Yeah, The group quotes the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, which stated that cumulative air containment emissions across the state have continued to decline, even as fracking has increased from the state from 2008 to 2012. I wonder if Kanye West's mom was near a fracking well. I kind of think so. You know, now that you think about it, 5 hours talking about his butt.
Always with a female having a relationship, married or single, it's always better that they do the leaving. Mm-hmm. If you do the leaving, it keeps that lingering thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But I was talking about Kanye West.
Why is it one time a month women go insane for 30 days?
Or every time you do a 4 to 7 minute interview on the radio. Yeah. Well, yesterday I told you about the 6 killings in Philadelphia. Yeah, remember? It was just another Monday. Well, apparently the killing suspect has been now found dead with self-inflicted knife wounds. Yeah. Go figure that one out. Iraqi war veteran Bradley William Stone was found dead in the woods near his home 2 days after he was suspected of killing his ex-wife and 5 of her relatives and seriously wounding another outside Philadelphia. Montgomery District Attorney Risa Furman said the former Marine appeared to have died of self-inflicted cutting wounds to the center of his body, although an official cause of death is yet to be determined. Yes, cutting wounds. Yes. I thought the Marines were trained to stab. Okay. Now make a statement to their 16-year-old girlfriends. Yes. She said a knife was found with his body about half a mile from his home in Pennsburg. The discovery of the body ended an intense manhunt for Stone. Furman and the victims suffered a combination of gunshot and cutting wounds. I guess he was trying to make a little cutting statement there, too.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Well, yeah. Authorities searched 2 days for Stone, 35 years old, of Pennsburg, who police suspect fatally shot his ex-wife, I should say, Nicole Hill Stone. The couple were in the midst of a custody battle over their 2 daughters, ages 5 and 7. One neighbor said Nicole feared her ex-husband, quote, she would tell anybody who would listen that he was going to kill her and that she was really afraid for her life, end quote, said neighbor Evan Warren. The murders fit a disturbing pattern that show men are often the culprit when multiple relatives are killed. Most of the incidents involve parents who are divorcing and often in custody battles, says Kathleen Russell, the executive director of the Center for Judicial Excellence. Well, that's kind of a, I don't know, an oxymoron. What is that? Yeah.
The music is fantastic. Oh, you got to hear it.
I think Kathleen Russell can hear it, that's for sure. Now, Stone and his ex-wife divorced in 2012. He remarried and she was engaged, but their fight over the children continued. Stone's problems have been exacerbated because he suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, according to court documents reported on by the Bucks County Courier-Times. Yes, he has had 3 DUI arrests and was on probation for 1 conviction. Furman said that Stone was, quote, getting some treatment for PTSD, but provided no details. Stone served in the Marines and in the Marine Reserves from 2002 right up to 2011, including a combat tour in Iraq in 2008. He was discharged honorably as a sergeant. He won numerous awards and medals for his service. It is not clear the impact that PTSD had on Stone. Retired Navy Captain William Nash, a psychiatrist, researcher, and former head of the Marine Corps Psychological Health Promotion and Stress Prevention Services, wow, say that 10 times fast, says that when someone acts on their impulses, it can lead to violence, particularly if the person is already angry or feeling hostility. PTSD can be a factor in that, but he notes that so can other stressors like a bitch of an ex-wife. Yeah, I got that right. Yes, well, another issue is if this Marine actually engaged in combat and if his job entailed killing people, then it would be another mediator, another facilitator, another thing that may have made it easier for him to make these bad decisions that he already learned how to kill, Nash says. And that's the whole separate thing from having PTSD. It's a whole other separate thing from stress. Well, see, something's not making sense to good old Crash in this little story, and what do you think that is? I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. Here, what do we got? A little island music. There we go. There you go, man. I'm going to give you a minute. You just think about what problem I have with this story thus far. All right, enough of that. Screw it. Come on. I was just trying to be funny, damn it. Don't hold it against me. Well, if you don't know, you're stupid because this is pretty glaring. U.S. Marines are trained to kill. They've said it here in this story I don't know how many times so far, and they don't kill by cutting wounds. That's like what the little girls do after school. Yay, let's go out and cut ourselves and, throw up and things and lose weight and get abused by some 14-year-old boy because we like it.
That was a mistake on my part.
Oh, no, that was not your fault, my friend. No, see, Marines don't usually, kill people like that, do they? Wait, they don't kill people like that at all. Now, if the wife and all the family members were found with their heads blown off or, 50 rounds in the torso or, there's the obligatory knife in the upper chest cavity through the rib cage. That's always the go-to for the Marines for, that face-to-face thing, right? Cutting wounds? Maybe they should be a little more specific. Cutting wounds to me is like, little cut lines across their tummy. That's what that is, because, that's what the little teeny girls do. Yes, those are cutting wounds. They even say so in the news reports about the little teeny girls. So what's this? I would expect big gashes of torsos ripped open by, the good old K-bar. Yes. No, cutting wounds. Yeah, so I have a problem with this so far, and if anybody else agrees with me, well, there you go. And if anybody doesn't agree with me, screw you. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's right. Now, most people have an aversion to taking life. But if somehow that aversion is dulled, dampened, for whatever reason, then it removes one of the obstacles, one of the social obstacles to actually acting on the impulses. It contributes to impulsivity. A recent Defense Department health blog said that while violence typically does not occur among veterans with PTSD, some research suggests that combat veterans may be at a greater risk for violent acts. A recent study found that someone with persistent anger, a symptom of the illness, can lead to aggression and even severe acts of violence against family members or strangers. But most authorities say that the more the study is done, that it is not really necessarily the issue of violence linked to PTSD. Now, residents in nearby communities were asked to shelter in place, and some schools were closed Tuesday due to the fact that law enforcement still seeks the whereabouts of an armed and dangerous local resident. Upper Perkman schools will be closed on Tuesday, and a statement posted on the district website said the district attorney has asked people in our area to remain vigilant. Well, it was the second manhunt to grip Pennsylvania this fall. Eric Frayne, of course, if you remember him, spent 48 days on the lam through the Poconos in the northeastern part of the state after he was suspected of killing a state trooper in September. The rampage began about 3:30 in the morning Monday in the Soderton home of Hill's sister Patricia Flick. Flick, her husband Aaron, and their daughter Nina, 14, were killed. Their son Anthony, 17, was seriously wounded. Authorities say Bradley Stone then killed Nicole Stone's mother, Joanne Hill, 57, and a grandmother, Patricia Hill, 75, at their home in nearby Lansdale. The massacre concluded with the Harleysville home of Stone's ex-wife about 5 a.m., authorities said. The couple's 2 young daughters who lived with their mother were found safe with a neighbor. A resident at Nicole Stone's apartment complex... oh, there you go. Nicole Stone's apartment complex. Yes, this show is brought to you by Nicole Stone's apartment... What? Told TV stations that she heard gunshots just before 5 a.m. and saw the suspect leave with Hill's 2 children. Quote, I opened the window and asked him if was everything okay. He just looked at me and said, she's hurt pretty bad. We have to leave. She's hurt. And he just got into the car and left, the unidentified neighbor said. Well, police later found 33-year-old Hill dead inside the apartment. Stone would be considered armed and dangerous, District Attorney Risa Furman said in a statement Monday night. A subject matching Stone's description was reportedly involved in an attempted carjacking near Doylestown in Bucks County. The driver fled the suspect, who fled into the woods, according to MPI TV. The suspect was armed with a knife and wearing camouflage. The 2 married back in 2004 and filed for divorce in March 2009, court records indicated. Their divorce was finalized in December of 2012. Now, he remarried last year, and neighbors said she became engaged over the summer. They had been in court earlier this month, with Bradley Stone filing an emergency petition for custody of their children. Stone was treated for unspecified combat-related physical injuries and was also receiving continuing treatment for PTSD, the Montgomery County records show. Stone pleaded guilty in November 2013 to a drunken driving crash. As part of his sentence, he was participating in a county rehabilitation program for veterans. Holy crap. Well, there's a story. There's more information about some dysfunctional family than you ever wanted to know without a prescription. There you go. There it is.
I think it should be short and sweet.
I know, and this was not.
The music is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to hear it.
Oh, I'm sure I will one day.
Which woman are you married to or living with now? The same one? The mother of the daughter, or was it a boy?
Oh God, no! It was not a boy. I wish, if only it was a boy. Well, what do you do when you live in a shoe? You don't kill your enemies. You cut them. Cutting wounds. Oh, cutting wounds. Yeah. There you go. I can say that now. It's so cool. Anyway, gang, we got to go for our second commercial break, and when we come back, hey, which of the 8 countries of the world do you think win and lose the biggest from the oil plunge? Ooh, there's some exciting coffee and cigarettes news. We'll go over that when we come back. And hell, I'll kick around here and see if I can't find something as funny as Kanye's ass. We'll be back in 2.
You're listening to Coffee and Cigarettes with Christopher John Taylor on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
You walked into the hotel as a 5. But when she saw the room, you turned into a weird 7. When she saw the rooftop pool, you went to 11. You two should probably get a room. Oh, that's right. You already did. At Planet Earth's #1 accommodation site, Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
When you have cable and can't record all your shows, you feel unhappy. When you feel unhappy, you go to happy hour. When you go to happy hour, you're up for anything. When you're up for anything, you head to a Turkish bathhouse. When you head to a Turkish bathhouse, you meet Charlie Sheen. And when you meet Charlie Sheen, you reenact scenes from Platoon with Charlie Sheen. Don't reenact scenes from Platoon with Charlie Sheen. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
I've been eating Egg McMuffins since 1984. But when I saw Taco Bell made a waffle taco, I figured I would get with the times. So I got a haircut and I got some tighter pants. Lost my flip phone, got a smartphone, even took down my Loverboy poster. Now I'm eating waffle tacos and AM Crunch Wraps, and I just made like $700 on Craigslist.
Move on from your old McDonald breakfast with Taco Bell's exciting new breakfast menu.
I always said shoes are like women. They inspire beautiful music.
But what about these?
Stilettos sound like this.
What does my fragrance inspire?
That's got soul.
My ties are beautiful. They don't need music.
Bringing the stars together. That's the magic of Macy's.
HTLA's Coffee and Cigarettes. For the best talk, there's only one. HTLA Radio 1.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays!
Ah, don't sound so damn happy, buddy. Oh, yes. There we go. It's time for the important news of the day here at Coffee and Cigarettes. Yes. 8 countries that win and lose big from the oil plunge. No. Do we I gotta ask this because I don't know. I'm kind of stumped on this, but do we really care which countries, especially the top 8 that win and lose big from an oil plunge?
That was a mistake on my part. You love to do that kind of stuff. You always did.
Mm-hmm.
And put your name up there and dress in different stuff. So fantastic. If I can be of any help, let me know. So
dress in different stuff? What the hell? All right. Well, we're back with Coffee and Cigarettes. 48 degrees New York Central Park right now. Raining like a something. Oh, I can actually say that now. Raining like a son of a... There you go. And, yeah, it's coming down. It's coming down. But, hey, at least it's not snow. That's right. And also to mention that today's show is partially brought to you by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City, now with those 8 wonderful locations to serve you. And also welcome to the new listeners in the chat there. And, of course, Miss Devalon Crawford, who is one of the famous, yes, I'm going to say famous listeners of HTLA. She is an HTLA listener celebrity. That's right. And there you go. That's what I'm talking about. And actually, she's just got here. So I do have to remind everybody, of course, about what I brought up at the beginning of the show, which is our new state-of-the-art forums. Yes. Yeah. See? Even the dog likes it. Now, if you go to Radio 1 New York, that's radio, the number 1, New York, .proboards.com, you'll see the fancy new slick forums there. And Louis, what do you think about the forums?
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Okay, all right. So you haven't actually got a chance to go see them yet. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, again, radio1newyork.proboards.com. You go there, and man, I'm just looking at it right now, and it's stunning. If I do say so myself. We've got, wow, it looks like HTLA Radio 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And, of course, the HTLA Radio 1 Showcase, which is, I believe, a Facebook page, which is a curation, if you will. Yes, it's all the greatest shows of HTLA Talk Radio here in New York since 2010. Yeah, so you can check those all out there, and you can get all of it right from the forums here. Everything's there. But the big deal they're talking about in the corporate office here at HTLA about this is that you can get up close and personal with all your favorite shows on HTLA, well, actually on HTLA's entire network, all the way up to Radio 5 there. There's a bunch of shows there. You post in your favorite show if you like. You can post things for the hosts. They've got a whole New York host section with all the fine hosts here at HTLA, including yours truly. Look at that, right at the top of the list. I love it. And yeah, there's even a built-in live chat room right at the bottom for your chatting pleasure. So be sure to go check that out. That seems to be the place to be, actually, for all the HTLA stuff now. Of course, with HTLA Radio 2 website to launch, of course, January 1st. That will be tied in as well as HTLA Radio 1, of course, and all the future domains for these now 5 stations. Holy schmuckers. Yeah. Oh, what? Schmuckers is a beepable? Well, I didn't say the F word. Yeah, I didn't know. See? There you go. So, yeah, check that out. And actually, look at that. Look at that. They've got an announcements section right near the top of the forums, and I'm looking at our show right now live. You can just hit play and get right into the show live right there. Chat room's there. Bob's your uncle. Everything's there. I'm telling you. Everything's there. And it's only going to get better in the new year with the expansion into the now 5 radio stations that are in the network. And a bunch of our sponsors and some other stuff there too as well. So be sure to go check those out. Radio1NewYorkProboards.com. Oh, sorry, Radio1NewYork.proboards.com. Yes, gotta get the damn dot.
That was a mistake on my part.
Well, yeah. I'm going to totally blame that on you.
Wait a minute, I got lost. HTLA. Oh, HTLA. Hell is that?
That would be your career going down the drain. Thank you. There you go.
I need to try and raise $25,000 to enter in the Academy Awards, and I think it's a fantastic risk because we have a tremendous chance. There's about 200 members that vote on it, and they all get. You have to give them a DVD now.
Oh. Right. Well, yeah. Since about 1992, I believe, was the when they actually switched over to that. Yeah, give us a DVD thing. Right. 1992. There you go. But at least you're up on your stuff.
We're 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award, and we didn't.
Well, no, then that's why you're here.
My film Unrepented did very well in Europe.
I know. I actually helped you make that. So moving on. I'm not going to do that stupid story about 8 countries and benefiting and oil. Whatever. Go away. Next window. I know, kids. You had your heart set on the old oil story. Well, I'm moving on to something a little more interesting, like the 1962 Alcatraz escapees who may have survived after all. Yeah, go figure that one out. Well, it seems highly unlikely that 3 men who pulled off a daring escape from San Francisco's Alcatraz Island prison in 1962 survived, though their feat spawned a Clint Eastwood film and has become the stuff of legends. Now, Dutch scientists have released a study based on interactive models that claim Frank Morris, John Angland, and Clarence Angland could have actually made it across the nearly 1.5 miles of hazardous bay waters to the mainland, the Washington Post reports today. Everything would have come together just so, including their leaving at the right time and rowing in the right direction in their makeshift raft made from 50 different raincoats, complete with a handmade wooden paddles and musical instrument that they used as a pump, according to FBI archives, which also note that the men put plaster heads topped with real human hair in their beds to trick the night guards. Now, the research team, led by Rolf Hutt, used an interactive model originally designed to measure the Bay Area's sea level rise, the Post notes. The scientists pored over tidal records of the night of June 11th, 1962, and plugged them into the model. Then released 50, quote, virtual boats every half hour, a scientist has told the BBC. The model determined that the prisoners may have avoided the worst currents if they had left between 11 and midnight and paddled directly northwards at a speed of almost 1 kilometer an hour, at an almost Olympian effort. Hutt notes in his blog that they could have reached the north side of the Golden Gate Bridge instead of succumbing to reversing tides and an almost certain death from hypothermia. Hutt says, per the BBC, in other words, a different fate than many people have assumed for the past 52 years. Yeah, so go figure that. Damn, that's some interesting stuff there. That's what that is, boy. So what do you think, listeners? Did they make it? Did they make it? Did they change their names? Did they, I don't know, go to Canada? Is one of them Louis Lawless?
That was a mistake on my part.
And that's what you're going to keep telling the authorities until the day you die. That's right. There you go. Well, what else we got here today for you? Oh yeah. Remember those Ferguson riots? You remember those? And remember the grand jury and the internal affairs investigation and the district attorney saying no evidence and the and the riots and the great deals on, I don't know, Air Jordans. Well, it seems that Los Angeles today, Mayor Eric Garcetti said that the city will buy more than 7,000 police body cameras, enough to equip every officer on patrol. He says, quote, I want to make sure the LAPD is on the cutting edge when it comes to crime suppression and constitutional policing, Garcetti said in announcing the moves. While calls for video cameras on police officers have grown in light of events in Ferguson, Missouri, and nationwide protest demonstrations about police tactics, Garcetti said Los Angeles police have been testing the use of body cameras for months and that he was pleased with the results. The mayor said more than $1.5 million in donations and grants have been raised by the city's police commission towards the project. Well, yeah, hey, any idea that gets brought to an organization like the LAPD and it gets more than $1.5 million in donations and grants, I'd be down with that too. You betcha. Los Angeles has almost 10,000 police officers on the city force. The initial cameras will go to patrol and special detail officers in specific areas of the city, including South Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley, and areas near downtown, Garcetti said. These cameras will help law enforcement and the public alike find the truth. And the truth is essential to the trust between the LAPD and the community, which has been a key factor in lowering crime to record lows, Garcetti said. City Council member Mitchell Englander says Los Angeles will be the first major city to have a camera on every police officer. City Council member Curran Price, who represents South Los Angeles, said, quote, our community, and in particular communities of color, have asked for transparency in policing. The citywide body camera program will help us answer that call, increasing public trust in our police department and our communities that need it the most. Nationally, 1 in 6 police officers are equipped with cameras, Associated Press reported. The Los Angeles Police Commission President Steve Soberoff said that he estimated the cameras would cost roughly $10 million for the first 2 to 3 years. Now, here's a little parting thought for you, gang, on today's Coffee and Cigarettes. You all understand and know my position on the whole Ferguson thing and the supposed race riots and the bandwagon jumping and all the rest of it, the anonymous getting in on the protests and even the Islamic terrorists getting in on the protest and everybody bitching about, oh, well, this is about Michael Brown. This isn't about Islamic terrorists and everybody's just stealing our thunder. And you also know that I don't believe for 1 minute any of this is racially motivated. That's right, and I've explained my position in great detail in previous Coffee and Cigarettes earlier this month. Here's the thing. Now that we've all been sold on this cops having body cameras now to keep them honest and to make every single person out there in the public world, all of you citizens out there, you're going to want to see all this video. What's going to happen when now this backfires on you is the question of the day for today's Tuesday Espresso. We already have confirmed statistics in the U.S. prison system of over 70% black and Hispanics in those jails, and they were convicted based on evidence. What happens when all these police cameras now just further illustrate not racism and violence against the unarmed black man, but indeed more and more video evidence of the actual truth and more evidence to further convict greater numbers of those minorities? What then? That's what I thought. Well, gang, that's about it for us today. We are up on the time. Thank you for joining us this fine evening. We won't make the mistake of letting Kanye West take over our studio for 5 hours tomorrow, so 3 p.m. is Coffee and Cigarettes tomorrow, Eastern Time, of course. And stay tuned tonight at 9 for an up-to-the-minute Crash Talk on HTLA Radio 1. Yeah, that's coming up. It's going to be fun. Thanks to Louie and the gang out at Mill Bay Studios, Mill Bay, British Columbia. Thanks also to our live listeners today at Spreaker.com and I guess our forums at HTLA Radio 1. And, of course, the new ones at radio1newyork.proboards.com. Yeah, check that one out. I'll actually put a link in the show comments today, so you guys have got that. You can just click it and go, sign up. And, of course, they'll be keeping you up to date with all the latest stuff going on at HTLA. And now I see there's 5 bloody radio stations, so that's a lot of stuff going on. So on behalf of myself and everyone at HTLA, happy holidays, of course. And we will catch you on the flip side tomorrow for Coffee and Cigarettes. Have a good night.
Coffee and Cigarettes, another HTLA original on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays!